G'day, my name's Eamon, and today we're really excited to announce our PF120 high bandwidth NDI box camera. Here it is. Here at Bird Dog, we've already delivered to the world the most complete range of high bandwidth NDI PDC cameras, and today we're really proud to expand that lineup into the box camera category with our PF120. Shipping now, the PF120 delivers resolutions up to 1080p 60 and is perfect for live streaming, educational facilities, medical applications, boardrooms, live sports productions, live events, and just so much more. At the heart of the PF120 is a Sony Exmor R sensor, which is teamed up with Bird Dog's custom NDI silicon implementation, which gives unmatched picture quality. There is a full colour matrix available with an incredible 64 positions of red, green, blue, cyan, magenta and yellow for both hue and saturation controls. And yes, Toby, there's also Kelvin control in there too. All of these amazing colour tools found in the PF120 can be controlled by our free Cam Control software. This is a software that enables you to access all of the features of the camera remotely, and you can control all of the colour tools and colour match cameras literally in seconds. Okay, so now let's take a look at the hardware. In the PF120 we have a super high quality 20 times zoom lens. We've incorporated a 49mm thread on the front, so you can use your favourite filters including UVs, polarizers, NDs and much more. There is also a large tally light on the front that just works when connected to any NDI production system. Moving around to the back of the PF120, we have a high bandwidth NDI connection which is delivered over an RJ45. This can also be used for powering the camera via PoE+. There is a HDMI which works at the same time as high bandwidth NDI, and there's also a USB UVC connector, so you can use the PF120 with your favourite video conferencing application. We also have a secondary connector over RJ45 for RS232 control. We have 3.5mm audio inputs and outputs, and a locking power supply connector. The PF120 ships with a global power supply. On the bottom of the PF120 are standard tripod mounts including a 1/4 inch 20 and a 3/8 inch thread for maximum mounting flexibility. There's also an anti-rotation pinhole as well. PF120 is shipping globally through our network of resellers, and for more information on this amazing little camera, just head on over to Bird Dog's website.
Well, it is that time again, everybody. Hope you are doing well. My name is Bird Dog John, and I am back in action.
In those scenarios, it's good to neuralize the cameras. You guys know that best.
Very straightforward. Plug it in, go to the web UI, link the source, walk away. You know, like super simple. I keep looking over at the chat, and I keep seeing you are full of it. Tasty, spicy meat snacks. Covered in flavor. I mean, you can't go wrong. So what's going on? We've got a handful of folks here in the chat, and I really appreciate that. What's up, mate? Hey, Warren, how are you? Appreciate it. Hey, Robbie, how's it going, man? We were just talking about you. What's going on, Tom? Ahoy. How is it going? What's going on, Go Web? Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with us again today. Appreciate that. Feel like I'm in this video more than anyone but John. It's true, NetApp. You are, I'm going to cut this up and put this in the next intro. Well, what's going on, everybody? I am Bird Dog John. Hopefully you're doing well. Now I'm hearing double because I think I left my monitor on. There it is. And we're operating a little bit differently today. As you can see, there's no RE20 obstructing the view. And I haven't been able to do this yet, so we're going to... See, there's no RE20 obstructing. Ooh, that sounds pretty good on my iPhone. You guys need to tell me how it sounds like out there. I'm operating a little bit differently. I'll tell you how that's going in just a second. But I've cleaned things up a little bit here. I don't have the headphones on today. Wow, I need a haircut. That's turning into a mullet. That's like a mini mullet. And so I'm operating a little bit differently today. I'm using a different microphone. It's not a shotgun mic, but it is a new rig that I'm just trying out that involves the Rode Wireless Go. So now the difference is that this microphone is going to be catching a lot more of the ambient audio around the office. And so there's a good chance that you're going to hear more chatter from the lobby than you typically would on the RE20. But if you don't mind, drop a line in the chat. Let me know you're here, first of all, but also if you would let me know how it sounds on your end, because I've been monkeying with the EQ, but when you do your own work, like when you do your own sound check, you hear your own register, right? Like you hear your own voice register and whatever, and that is okay, but it's hard to get it precise, and so I would rather have somebody else be presenting or somebody else running sound that I would trust to do it, and I have neither of those. I trust no one in this office. So, no, I'm kidding. They are all busy unloading a pallet this morning that showed up, actually now 2 pallets that came here to the office, one previous and one today. So the first pallet's unloaded. The second pallet is being unloaded, and then the third, we had to unload a pallet to load a pallet, you know. So we took a whole bunch of stuff down. They're bringing a whole bunch of stuff up. So you're going to hear probably more ambient noise than you typically would on the show, and that's because I don't have that RE20 sitting right in front of my mouth. So if you don't mind, let me know how it sounds. Let me know what you think of the audio. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what that is and what products I'm using to make that happen. I did notice, well, no, I'm not going to go into that. So today's show is not brought to you by Ember Mugs. Keep your coffee hot and your creamer curdled. You're probably also going to hear a lot more sound effects. I need to be way more conscious as to the noises I make, like when I'm kicking my chair and I'm like rubbing my hands and stuff. You're going to hear a whole bunch of that today. So that is the difference in the microphone setup, and I'm down for you to tell me what you prefer. Not saying that I will change what I do based on your preference, but I will definitely take it into consideration, especially because this show is not about me. It's about you. So, good times, great oldies. I'm really excited to be back with you guys. Now, a little change to the program that we should talk about briefly. Now, on Sunday night, I need to go away. I'm going to go away for a while. I need to go and help a customer with one of the sales guys in a different state. And so on Sunday night, I'm going to fly out. But I'm going to try and fly back on Tuesday morning. Now, the intention is to be back in this studio in time to do this show. That's if everything and all the external factors go off perfectly. That I shouldn't miss this show. But the other alternative is I'm late, and I run the show sometime later in the afternoon. If I'm late, I'm hoping that it's only like by an hour. So we would start at noon instead of starting at, late in the day. But I'm going to try and still do a show sometime on Tuesday, as long as I'm back in Michigan and as long as I'm here. Now, I'm going to be a little bit blurry-eyed, to put it lightly, and that should be understandable, but we will definitely try and be back with you on Tuesday. I can't produce the show from the airplane, so bear with me. Worst case scenario is we got to cancel and we just do Thursday next week, but the goal is to be back in the office because there's also like 6 other meetings I have to be a part of on Tuesday. So there's that. So hopefully we will be back with you on Tuesday at the same time, same place, and we'll be able to hang out together. But that's what is potentially going on, and I'll mention this again before the show is out at the end of the show, just so everybody kind of knows and is on the same page. Okay, there are a handful of you hanging out in the, I can see a couple of people over on YouTube. Several people on YouTube, a couple of people in the user group, and somebody over on Twitch. And I also know that my regular attendees, it sounds like I forced them to go to the show, but usually my teammates are also watching shows, so they're all busy. So the numbers are not as high as they typically are, but this maybe is more true to how many people are actually watching. But if you're here, feel free to say something in the chat. Love to know that you're around. Thank you so much for stopping by. Now, I also realized that my secondary desktop is not on, and so because I'm a nerd, I have this all automated, and I can pull that up, yoink, and turn that on. So we're going to turn that on, let that boot up, and then I'm going to return to YouTube. Let me know how it sounds, folks. That's the other thing, is I've changed my audio. So if you're over, I think this sounds. I'm going to return to YouTube. Let me know how it sounds, folks. I think it sounds pretty good over on YouTube, and I just want to double check and make sure that's happening. Let me know what the audio sounds like. The rig that I'm using right now is actually for a different gig that I'm involved in, but I wanted to test it out. This is a great place to do that, and we can talk about the pros and cons and how it's set up and all that sort of good stuff. Angus, what's happening? Good morning. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully you're doing well out there in Western Canada, right? That's where you're hanging out. Good times. Thanks for stopping by. Now, what do we got going on that we need to probably talk about? There's a whole bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes, which is kind of why my brain is usually cluttered with. I have to be careful about what it is that I talk about because I don't want to spill any secrets. But there's lots of stuff going on at Bird Dog. I promise you. Oh, I should mention this. What we do, we are going to do snacks on stream today. Balu changed it up and is going to have us try out. Let me do this. Oh man, that's kind of a mess. Balu's going to have us try out Snack Pack Sour Patch Kids Jello. All right, so let's give that a go. You know, we never know what is going to arrive, but I'm appreciating the things that aren't disgusting. That I think, well, I appreciate the things that are not designed to kill me. That they're just going to let me, try something that might. There's a good chance I'm going to enjoy this. So, and of course, I've got my coffee in the Ember mug. I do have water here. I was helping the guys take items down to the warehouse. We don't own a warehouse, by the way, but the building that we're in lets us borrow some space, which is incredibly grateful. We are incredibly grateful for that, but also it's super generous of them to do that. So that is a kind gesture that they let us use a little bit of space while pallets are coming and going. And so we had to haul all that gear downstairs to build that pallet. And I was doing that right before the show. And I told the guys, okay, it's 5 minutes before I gotta go live. So I'm going to go in the studio now and lower my heart rate so that I'm not like huffing and puffing when I get on the show. And this different microphone system, I was a little bit worried that would be a little bit too close. So yeah, that's good times. I'm fighting with a network card and I'm losing what little hair that I have left. Oh no, what's going on? What network card are you using and how is it being configured? Hey, it's 1 a.m. here in Korea. What is going on? Thank you for joining us. Why are you up so late? Or are you a night person and maybe you have a job that, oh man, I need to shave. Good night. Maybe you're a night person and this is a convenient way to pass the time in the middle of the night. But thanks for joining us anyways. I really appreciate that. Thanks for jumping on Facebook. I'm a big fan of things that aren't disgusting. Yes, me too. Our goals are in alignment, my friend. That is for sure. So I'm happy to. Now that TV didn't turn on. What is the deal with that? Let's see. Can I turn it on without shutting off this other Samsung? It's really annoying because both of these TVs are Samsung TVs, but when you hit the power button, they swap, so one turns off and one turns on. I'm not too sure why that one didn't turn on its own because it normally restores on power. This one is coming back, I believe, so good news there. So yeah, we are trudging through whatever we are getting through now. I know that Senseless, who is the head of my ticketing department, he has been slogging through the tickets that are still in the system, but they are definitely getting a handle on things. And so I'm hopeful that is a sign of good things to come and that things are kind of settling down a little bit here. We've been kind of going 120% for the past few months. So it's nice to have a little bit of breathing room and to not just be completely overwhelmed all the time. I just noticed that tally light is not working on that PF120, the second shot. So we're going to change that. I'm going to see what the deal is with that actually, because I know that there was a firmware out there that was not, which one are we on here? 94. Okay, so there's a firmware, this is the latest, so the tally light's probably just off. There was a firmware out there, I think it was like 6.4 or something like that, where the PF120, the tally light wasn't working. And they sorted it out, and I may not have enabled it here. Yeah, tally is off. So now we are on, and that is green. So that's good news. So, all right, it was just my own setup problem. I'm thinking about telling, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'm thinking about telling the engineers to default tally on, Like if people don't want it, they can turn it off. It's like the little LCD screen on the 110s, 120s, the new camera line, the 240. People can choose to turn it off, but by default, it should probably be on. Like the feature should be on, and then they choose to turn it off. So thinking about asking them to make that change. Let me know how you feel about that. I know there's equal value to, well, if we want it on, we'll turn it on. It's just annoying that like if you do a firmware update and they don't turn off again, right? Then you got to go through and turn them all on. So maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. I bought a StarTech 10 gig SFP Plus card based on a Marvel chipset. There's an error tucked away in Windows about the device not starting. It shows a link but won't actually connect to my switch. It always self-assigns a 169 address, which is a fallback address. Self-assigned. On Fiber SFPs it transmits, but it will not receive packets. And on the 10 gig DAC to my 4212PX it receives but will not transmit. I love the NDI Tally. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. That stinks, first of all, that you're encountering this problem that is, this NIC card issue. Mine was a 10G Tech card. I had to go to the manufacturer's website and actually download the specific driver for it because the one that came in the CD, which I think is this one, did not work, and also who has a CD drive anymore. So I went to, and you might, if you have an optical drive, well done. You might want to, well, anyway. Anyways, you can download the latest, but I find that a lot of that stuff is documented now. Like if you run into that error, you can verify if it's still a problem on Reddit or whatever, right? So there are some options there, at least, when it comes to figuring that out. All right, it's 11:15, so I am I'm done with the Marvel firmware update and installing their newest drivers. Okay. And installed their newest drivers. So nothing yet, eh? I know that Windows 10 had an issue with 10 gig connections, and they were throttling down to 1, like 1.2. But I think the latest security update fixed that. So that may not be it. It may genuinely be an issue on, let me go here. What's going on here? Why is this dim? That little TV screen that I have up there for my second monitor is really annoying. And of course, when it doesn't turn on immediately, then screen capture doesn't work right. And of course, vMix likes everything to be running before vMix loads. And so if you don't load something in the proper sequence, which you could use the startup apps for, which I do most of the time, then it doesn't work correctly. Okay, so now the desktop's being captured. That's nice. All right, so it is 11. It's after 11:15. So let's talk about the audio setup here because I did change things. The RE20 is right here off to the side. Don't worry, everybody. It's still here. Don't fret. But the current rig, I am using a Rode Wireless 2 system that is basically these little transmitter receiver devices that I purchased a while ago. I bought these because I wanted to do run and gun back in the summer, and I actually ended up not really using them for, oh, there's an interesting idea. Anyways, I wanted to do run and gun in the summer, and I wanted to record some audio for the 360 videos that I use to record. So I have an Insta360 Evo, which is a discontinued 360 180 camera, and the 180 option is 3D, right? So you turn it out, and then you can record in 180 3D. And we took, as you all know, I took my family to, I didn't take it, my wife and I saved and scrimped and cut a lot of corners and took my kids to Alaska last July. And one of the things I wanted to do was record a bunch of stuff while I was there, so that when we came home, and we definitely couldn't afford to go for the next several years, we couldn't go on another trip for several years, we wanted to be able to relive that. And so I was able to capture some video. I didn't go all out because I was also there to enjoy the trip. And if I'm there to record video, I would miss out on a bunch of stuff. And so that was the idea. But anyways, I did record some things. And then if you can capture great audio, then that makes the experience so much better. Well, what I did is I took a 3DO binaural microphone with me as well to capture 3D sound. And that was really a great investment. And then I took these if I was running and gunning just with the camera so that I could capture something. And then I had a Zoom H1, is that what it's called? It's not a very expensive recorder, but it is a Zoom H1N. Is it H1N? No. A Zoom. It's called a field recorder is what it's called. It is the Zoom F3. Okay. And the F3 will allow you to do, no, that's not the one that I have, is it? Oh, it's this one. The F1 LP. It's the lavalier body pack. That's the one that I have. So the Zoom F1 LP, really great. It has a single input for just a single microphone. Sorry if you're hearing the chair squeak. I'm not paying attention to that like I normally do. So you can just use a 3.5 mil jack for your microphone. And in my instance, you can plug in the transmitter, which is here on my hip. And you can plug in the transmitter to that and then have a little jumper cable that goes into it. Put the transmitter on your lapel or whatever you want to do there. And then it has a halfway decent microphone in it. And it even comes with windscreens. And then you plug this into that little field recorder and you have a wireless, the ability to have no wires connected to your camera. So everything's being saved on SD cards, basically. So that was really cool. And then when you merge those two in the 360 Studio, you can match them up. And then when you watch them in the headset, you have 360 audio and you have 180 3D video, or you have 360 video as well. So you can look all around. And I would just put it up on my shoulder because my kids are used to riding on my shoulders. They're small enough to still do that. So they're used to riding on my shoulders. So when they wear the headset, it's as if they're riding on my shoulders. But then they also see themselves walking, in Alaska. So really cool setup. And I bought these little wireless Go's because I thought this would be a great secondary option. And then that was in July of last year. And then in August, I went camping and we were doing some classes and lessons and whatever. And I wanted to capture the audio from those lessons. And so I just clipped the transmitter, which is the one on my hip, with a windscreen onto the teacher. And then I had that plugged into the field recorder and I just hit record and I just monitored the audio with a headset. So really straightforward, really easy to do. And it allows us to capture the audio in those like really remote locations. They're charged with USB-C, and so that's convenient, and they go for about a couple hours, so at least. I haven't really run them right down. I don't know how long they actually go, but I need a couple hours is what I normally need. Okay, and then, so today's microphone is brought to you by a relatively young company called XVive. Over here, let's cut back to this. So XVive, they make a variety of recording devices, but microphones are one of them. And the XVive that I have, let me pull this up. So I have a few XVive devices. And the one that I have is this one called the LV2. I'll throw this into the show so you can see it. Present, share screen, share tab, this one, Bob's your uncle, and show. So, this is that microphone, and it's crazy small, like super small. So I love that. Not very expensive for a lav mic. I'm generally not a huge fan of lav mics because of the interference that you get. So I spent a lot of time figuring out how to affix the microphone to somebody, to a talent. Let's not get crazy. How to affix the microphone to a person on camera to where you're not going to get a lot of clothing rustle and where you're going to get relatively clean audio, which is why I'm interested to know how you guys think the audio sounds, because I can actually hear the live monitor through the Euphoria UMC 404. Now it means that my computer, my Mac, doesn't have audio that goes to my ear. It just has a general, it just has like the microphone, or the speakers on the back of the thing, which are terrible. But this little mic is really great. I mean, I've been so far super impressed. It arrived yesterday. I had no time to test it yesterday. I plugged it in today. I taped myself up, and I'll show you how I'm doing that. Just to get your opinion. It's like, is this working? Is this thing on? So that would be great. But the LV2 lavalier mic from XVive, I was like, all right, it's not that expensive. I'm going to give it a go. If it works, fantastic. And now I have a lav mic for a talent that I could just tack on this little wireless system. And it does come with some of those, like an actual clip, and it comes with like a windscreen. But I wanted to go another step beyond that because I don't trust those windscreens. I think they're okay, but they're fine for like indoor air conditioning. Not great for wind, and not honestly very great for clothing movement and whatever. So I went with the Ursa circles, the fur circles, which have 30 sticky pads that you can use. They're like one-time use, but then the actual little these little covers, they're not covers necessarily, but they're just pads. They're one-sided. They're basically a windscreen. They're like a windsock or a dead cat. And you stick the microphone onto the glue pad, and then you put this on the other side of it to make a sandwich. And then you peel off the back and you put that on your talent. Now, generally, the idea is you would put it somewhere in the upper chest range and fix it either onto the underlayer or ideally the talent skin, if that's permitted and appropriate. So I'm interested to know how it sounds because I am using a lavalier mic. It's underneath my sweater and a performance like undershirt that I wear. I know you can't really tell the difference here, but I've got 2 layers on, and it's actually like it's underneath those layers. It's plugged into a wireless pack, and it's being transmitted over into one of the inputs onto the Euphoria Live and then coming into the show. And I've just married the same mute button to the X key that's in there. So, it's a simple way to mute and unmute. The difference is that I have to manually unmute every time. It doesn't, like I have a trigger set up to unmute the RE20, but I don't have a trigger set up for this other one. So I didn't go that far. And I'm not planning on using this all the time because I prefer to use the RE20. But yeah, this microphone here, look, this is kind of the setup, right? These two is what I ended up getting. And so far so good, I think. Like I said, it does come with this little clip. I don't like putting lav mics on shirts like this. I would prefer to tape them down to the shirt if I was going to do anything, because this rustling is going to drive you absolutely crazy. And so always tape and always go underneath this flap at least so that it is taped. And if you're going to do that, you need to probably look at something like this, where you have these white or black or whatever with the tape strips, and then it stops that rustling sound between the two. Now, again, mine are like windscreens, right? Like these little things are like fluffy dead cats. And so that's supposed to really take the ambient air away, but provide an air gap, which is what you want around the capsule. You want an air gap so that it gets rid of the wind, but also doesn't capture the rustle and doesn't capture whatever. So I'm very interested to know how you guys are listening to this, if it sounds good. I did some preliminary recordings where I tested it on a recording on a vMix, and then I played it back. That seemed to be fairly nice and quiet, and not nice. Nice is a terrible describing word. That is sufficient. It wasn't the $500 RE20. That wasn't that. This microphone is $60, and then this little wireless kit is $120. So, we're somewhere in the $200 realm. So if I'm getting half the performance that I am out of the RE20, I'm a happy guy. I personally think it works well. I like the interview style, RE20 microphone in the shot and all that. But for presenting and for what I want to do with like other things outside of Bird Dog, I really want to know if this is going to actually work. So very interested to know what you guys think of all of that. And that is the setup. Now, let me jump back here because Angus has updated us. So now on the DAC, it's showing transmit and receive packets flowing as well as a 10 gig uplink, but not self-assigning an IP address. I've done the firmware updates. I've installed their latest drivers. Whoa, it started working. One more reboot did the trick. Boom. When in doubt, have you tried turning it off and on again?
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Did that come through? Yeah, that came through. I really like the Rode Wireless Go 2. Yeah, okay, so I have the first gen. I have just the Wireless Go because I didn't need dual, and I didn't need dual for $100 more. I'll put it that way. The style that I do is usually single talent. But yes, I've heard great things about the Wireless Go 2. I have no experience with it, but I haven't heard many people that are dissatisfied with it, even when put head-to-head with the new DJI version of it. So by all means, that's a good one. the little reporter microphone handle is delightful. It's true. That is really, I've seen that in a lot of guys that are doing stuff on social media, you know, doing things for Instagram and Facebook. They have that little wireless go, like handheld microphone thing. It makes it look like a Bob Barker microphone with a, well, not the pencil microphone, but anyways, you know what I mean. Wireless Go 2 on the newest firmware will record on board without having to connect to a receiver at all. See, that's game changer stuff, because I do have to have an external recorder, and I actually don't mind it because it makes it, like, I have a lot of versatility options. So, but yeah, that would be nice to have that little transmitter on board recorder. That'd be great. That sounds like such a lovely way to keep a nice family memory. It is. You know what's crazy is when I watch those videos now, right? So we're into March here of 2023. Those videos were taken in July of 2022. I can't believe how young my kids look. Like, it's only been 8 months or 9 months, right? But gosh, they're growing like crazy. And I put the headset on and I watch those videos and I'm like, man, they were actually pretty, like, that was a while ago for them. And kids grow like crazy, right? So it blows my mind that that they were not the size that I know them to be. They were much younger kids. So it's great to have, we have a ton of pictures, and then we have those videos. It's great so that they can remember, they don't forget what it was like. Yeah, it's not just up to your muscle memory to remember. You actually have footage that is in 360 or 180 or whatever. It's great. Sounds great. Oh, that's awesome. That would be, I think the audio sounds great, much more natural than the boom mic. I think it might be a lav. I might be a lav snob, but I normally opt for a Countryman B3 or B6. The Shure MX150 is also something that I keep in my kit. It came through. I honestly think, though, the weak point is the wireless. It sounds a bit dead, but that is the road. Fascinating. How can I... So vMix can help us compensate a little bit in that, and it might be the processing that's happening. I mean, it might be the wireless. You might absolutely be right. I did not spend a ton of money on the best wireless system out there, right? I spent $150, I think, after tax on the actually Wireless Go, $60 on a microphone, and then another $20 on a cable to get it into the system. I do hate that the only output I have is 3.5. That's really annoying because not every system will accept 3.5. I've tried dozens of times at this to get my computer to turn the headphone jack into a microphone jack, and it will not do it. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I've like Googled it. I've checked it out on Reddit. It's just like, doesn't seem like the port is actually functioning. And when I switch to the microphone port that says audio jack on it, it's just an ambient mic that's in the case of the camera, or in the case of the computer, and it is so brutal. You can hear the fan. The fan's like, and the little thing. Oh, it's not good. So, yeah, I'm liking the wireless rig. Like, if I needed to do a wireless interview and I needed this to be clean and not have the RE20, but like that, given the register of my voice and given the range that XLR can get. That's what I think is obviously a major difference between the two, is my register sits really low on the frequency range, and that microphone captures basically everything. It's like 20 hertz and up. And so my whole range is captured, whereas this one, actually, we could probably tell you exactly what the range is on this one. I think it's like, it starts at 80, and that's probably pretty weak. It says 50, response is 50 hertz. I can't imagine that it's doing anything at 50, to be honest with you. There's no way. But it goes up to, 20,000 hertz. So, but it is capturing the meat of the voice, but it's probably sitting comfortably in the 1,000 range. And after some they actually have a Gen 1 version of this product, but the capsule is much bigger. And I already got a big capsule lavalier mic, and I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. It's hard to it's hard to manipulate and control. The smaller the microphone capsule, the better for me, and I would prefer to just deal with it that way. So the smaller the microphone. You're right. It is a little bit like, obviously you're capturing more of the room sound. I haven't deadened the walls in here, and that RE20, of course, is so proximity reliant, that it's right up close to my mouth and it's able to basically eliminate anything, including the sounds that are going on in the lobby. So that's, that's just a trade-off of the type of microphone you're using. It would be the same thing with a boom microphone, right? Like, so if I had a shotgun mic and it was mounted out of the frame, I have an NTG2, which I used for many years and actually really like a lot. I love the NTG2. But what I want is to have one option to record audio on board the camera when I'm doing run and gun stuff, and then one option as a backup audio. So I would put this in the hot shoe or this in a hot shoe, and then I would put, tie that directly into the camera, let the camera record that audio, and then I would have the NTG2 going into the little, or maybe vice versa. But anyways, the NTG2 going into some field recorder or something like that, and then you get 2 tracks, and if one of them dies on you, you always have a backup. So that is the plan, at least going forward. And then there are guys that are like, well, I like to have 3 versions, and so you can get an H4n, which has 2 inputs, and you can do multi-tracking. I actually have an H4n, runs off of batteries, it eats them like crazy. But you can do that where you have multiple inputs coming in, different microphones, just to make sure that you capture everything. The way that you do that is you would run these 2 into the H4n, so you'd run that and the NTG2, and then you would let the camera have onboard microphone if you don't have a third mic. But a DSLR or a mirrorless camera or whatever, the microphone on that thing, you're not going to want to use that audio. So like, what's the point? You might as well capture it in a better, and eliminate the onboard microphone, because you're going to get clicking and whining and focusing and all that sound, which, no thank you. So that's just my preference. Okay, so I'm going to jump back to the chat here because I wasn't looking at this. I'm not a huge fan of the H4n, especially with a mic that benefits from lots of clean gain like the NTG2. Well, and I probably wouldn't use the onboard microphones of the H4n just because I haven't had a lot of luck with those. But I have a lot of good external, there are always better external microphones in the world, but I think I have decent stuff for what it is that I do. And I use an NTG2 at home when I'm doing Zoom calls, with the Australians at night, or if I'm talking to my family or whatever. I'm using that in my home office, and it works great. It's not super clean, but if I get up close, it works really well. I've also changed the lens on my camera recently for that, and maybe I should do something at home and show that off a little bit. But regardless, I could bring that camera in here, I guess. Regardless, it works pretty well. And I think in the live environment, as long as I'm monitoring the sound from that shot, if from that microphone, well, from both really, that would be good. So I don't like the H4n onboard microphones. I don't think that they're great, but I have options for other things. The 3DO, if I'm doing ambient sound or 3D video, I have the NTG2. I now have this rig, which even the little microphone that's in this, like there's a little microphone that's just in the top here that gets bypassed when you plug in a lav, but that mic actually is surprisingly not that bad. And I just clip it onto, you can hear the microphone. I just clip it onto the guy's shirt or whatever and tuck it underneath the button down and put the windscreen on it. And for that recording that we did in Northern Ontario, it worked great. Like, you can't hear everybody, but you can definitely hear the teacher and the talent. So that's good stuff. Oh, I should also mention the birddogjohn.tv YouTube channel is at 190 subscribers. So whoever you are, guys, thank you. That's so cool. Thanks for continuing to join that channel. And for those of you who are new or just watching for the first time, birddogjohn.tv, everything that I do out of this studio gets put to that site and other places. So you may have found us on Facebook or Twitch or whatever, but it gets pushed to that location. So if you want to get notified over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I don't have like a cool little, maybe I should ask somebody to make me a cool little like ding bell icon that I could run during this little pitch. But somebody has been subscribing to that channel, and I get one or two every little while. So thank you so much for hanging out over there with us. 190 subscribers. That's pretty cool. And I'm not looking to like build a channel and like make money or anything. That's not what we're doing here. But it is always neat to see that people are subscribing and considering it valuable enough to have it a part of their channel experience. So really cool stuff. Thanks, guys. Oh, that's neat. I didn't realize that that's a thing. Okay, back to the chat. The F6 is leaps and bounds better. Well, the Zoom F6. Now, when you say leaps and bounds, you also mean by like money, right? Because the F6 field recorder is $700. So I would hope so that it is leaps and bounds, because it is a ridiculous LP. It is a much different price point than the Zoom F1 LP, which is $140. So yes, I would hope that it was a great upgrade from the H4n, which is also what, like H4n is $200 now. The Pro version is $200. So they all have their place. It's like, it's like switching software. We've talked about that before. But yes, I bet it is unbelievable. You're going to have to watch your hands as the love picks them up. Like when I do this, or when I like touch my shirt, or I do this. You guys can hear all of that in crystal clear audio, eh? Yeah, so sorry about that. Even the XLR inputs on the H4n are very noisy compared to anything in the F series. Oh, interesting. I would... I'll look for the data on that, because I'm sure you're right, and I would love to see what that is. Hi, what's going on, Zachary? How are you? I just joined. Fantastic. What are we talking about? We are talking about audio stuff right now, and how I'm integrating that into my NDI workflow for this show. So that is what is going on. Please don't clip the Rode on and use the built-in mic. That drives me nuts. So I have done that in a previous show when I first got these. I was just like, let's just see how it sounds. And so I clipped that on. I didn't like the way that it was integrated. I didn't have this fancy blue cable to get it into the Euphoria. But now I've upped the game again. I don't use this microphone typically for the show. But now I've upped it again where I have an actual lav taped to me. So that's what we're trying out today. This is a new microphone. There's the RE20. Sitting on standby, I could easily, if this was like just not working or something was wrong, just swing that around and go back to the RE20. It is ready to go. I haven't disconnected or done anything there. So yes, it is true. It's a bit of money. But if that's your business, if that's how you are making money, cheers to you. Make that happen, man. Like I've always said, and I'm well supported in this, a great video starts with great audio. And if you have crap audio, it doesn't matter how good your video looks, no one's going to watch that crap. Unless they put it on mute and they just want to watch your B-roll. But no one's going to watch that, so. Wow. The way that this is capitalized makes me think this is potentially sarcastic, but maybe not. I'm really happy you're here, Zachary. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you find something of benefit, or if you have questions you want to talk about, NDI stuff, Bird Dog products, you want to talk about audio, you want to talk about colorization, maybe you want to talk about vMix or Wirecast or OBS or whatever. Hey, we're here to chat. Absolute sequitur. Sorry, my brain. I have an old DJI Osmo Mobile, and I'm currently got my phone clipped into it, transmitting NDI HX. I'm just itching to use it on a show. Nice. DJI Osmo Mobile. I'm going to have to look this up. DJI. Which version of the mobile? Because there are a whole bunch. Like an old school, like Mobile 1. These are really cool. How do you have it? What do you have it clipped to? I've got it clipped to my phone that's transmitting NDI HX. Okay, so like a wireless rig. I would also be very interested to know how that's going. And why won't this... something's going on. Okay. Spend money on better wireless. There is more return than a better recorder. Agreed. Now, I pitted the prices between the Wireless Go 2 and the Wireless Go 1, and the new DJI one, or I guess it's not new anymore. It's been out for quite a while. But like value over, what you get. And at the time, I didn't need two transmitters. Yeah, I didn't need two transmitters, and I couldn't justify the additional $150 it was going to be for the DJI one. And the choice was basically the Rode stuff or the DJI version. And so I was like, look, for the price that the wireless one is, and it does everything I want it to do, when I need to expand, I'll expand. I'm not locked in, but for what I'm doing today, right now, how I'm operating on weekends and whatever, this is what I need. So I agree. Investing in good equipment will return multiple ways. Okay, cheapening out on things is never a good idea. But I'm also a huge advocate of buy the thing to do the thing you want the thing to do. Don't buy the thing that does 20 things for the one thing you want it to do, because the other 20 things you might dabble in, but you'll spend money on those 20 things and not get the full value of the single thing that you wanted to do. So like if a product does like a whole bunch of stuff, like an endless list of things, I don't know how excellent it does the specific thing it's built to do, because they have to spread those resources out to develop all of those things. And you'd think, well, they just expand their fleet. Not always. It's usually a single guy doing it. So, especially if it's inexpensive, because then they have to cut costs somewhere. It's a Osmo 2, I believe. Yep, wireless stabilized NDI. That's cool. Stabilization is the next game I got to get into. But I don't know if I'll do it with a stabilizer or with a body rig. So we'll see. Hey everybody, I'm a Bird Dog. Hey, what's going on, Dan? A Bird Dog newbie over here. Any news on Wallplate Dante release date? How is everyone getting audio out of a client's laptop for conferences? So there is no release date for Dante audio on Wallplate. However, I do know that people are using, if you want to get it directly to Dante, then you can convert it into a AVIO unit. So if we go, these, you can get these as USB adapters and convert it directly to Dante there. So it comes out USB computer and goes into PoE Dante. So that's the easiest way to do it. And then if you want to integrate that into a desk, that's the easiest way today to do it. It's kind of the reason why we're designing the hardware version, because it gets out of that. But if you need to do it like for a show this weekend, you can get one of these 2-channel USB IOs adapters. Does it need PoE? Yeah, PoE needs a PoE class 1 PoE switch, so it's only 15 watts. And that'll convert the audio out of your computer into Dante, and then you can get that. Ooh, I want a couple of these now. Thanks a lot. Thanks for that. Now I want them. Because we are also trying to create or have a Dante network here, so that we're prepared for whatever change that will be when we hit the market with Dante. So Bluetooth adapter. Seriously? Wow, these AVIO things are really cool. I mean, they just have a lot of versions of them. But anyways, that's the way to get it to Dante right away. And then your device never changes. Doesn't matter what it's plugged into. The device name in your control panel, in the Dante controller, is always the same. So you can then route the audio and walk away and not have to worry about routing it every time somebody plugs in their computer. You can just have it all set. So you don't need PoE to do the USB dongle. Okay. Adapters are great. Also, if you are capturing HDMI, I use a Flex, and it will encode audio if the PC output is set. Yep. Yeah, okay, so if you want a single cable installation, that's also a good way to do it. You can use a Flex in and capture the audio over the HDMI. I really strongly recommend that if you're putting this in a walk-away situation, that you get a EDID pass-through for the Flex, because the Flex in doesn't tell the computer what resolution to pick. And so typically when you plug in an HDMI cable, it just goes to, it's a camera device initially. We're working on the EDID thing, as I've said for a very long time. But when you go out of the computer into the Flex in, yes, it'll pass the audio, but you want to be sure that everybody's computer that plugs into this thing always sends the exact same resolution. So you can buy them for like 1080p 5994, which is ideal, and you could just plug it into the USB cable at the flex side. And then when a customer takes the USB, or I'm sorry, the HDMI thing and plugs it into their laptop, it'll always request 1080p 5994, which the flex can be then manually set to, so that that never changes. And then the audio will pass, and you can route that audio. So that's a simple way. But then if you're trying to get it to Dante, then you would, if you're trying to get it to Dante, then you would need to use like Dante Bridge to convert NDI audio over to a Dante signal. And that's a pretty straightforward way to do that too. It's a software version. Be sure that you've got a machine on the network that can handle that. But we'll do that in real time, and then you can route that Dante audio wherever you want it to go, to Dante speakers or another controller or whatever. So there are some options there. But that's the way that I know if you're needing the Dante conversation to be legit and like real, then that's the piece that makes that happen. Do y'all like any old consoles like NES, Game Boy, and Super NES? Okay, so this is really an NDI question, but I did say ask your question. So I like particularly Game Boy and Super NES. Those were my wheelhouse, just because I had a Game Boy and my friend had a Super NES when I was growing up, and so those were the consoles I played mostly. There was a game on NES, original NES, that was like some sort of, like you fly an airplane and blow stuff up. My cousin had this version. I saw him once or twice a year, but my cousin had the game. I cannot figure out what that game was called, but it was kind of like, do you remember the PC game called Raptor, where you would fly around and your mouse was basically the controller for the airplane, and you click the button and it shoots the primary weapons, then you click the secondary button and it shoots the secondary weapons? That game, I love that game. I still have that game on like GOG, I believe. I have Raptor. That game, it was like that, but for NES, and like older graphics, and nostalgic for me. The other game I loved, which doesn't exist, I don't even think in freeware, was a game called what was it called? Zone 66. Oh my gosh, throwback. The game was called Zone 66, and again, you're an airplane, you load up with certain weapons, and then you fly around like this area that you're trying to destroy all of the military installations in this area. And you can pick different planes and different armaments and whatever, and it was the jam. And I don't know if Zone 66 is in freeware. I haven't looked recently, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. The story for Zone 66 was so funny, where it was like, he's like running, and he's running towards this city that's way off in the distance. And as he's running, this like thought bubble comes up, and it's like his wife and baby. And he's like running and running and running. And then this like atomic bomb goes off and desolates the whole city. And desolate, is that the right word? Demolishes the whole city. And so then he's like crying. And then the next scene is him like getting in the airplane. He's like going to exact revenge. The story was weak. The game was cool. And so Zone 66, if you're looking for some nostalgia, old school 90s games, giddy up. I'm on a Chromebook, so I don't really understand. It's all good. It's all good. You don't have to understand. Everybody's welcome here. That's what the description says, right? You're welcome to come and hang out with us. No problem. I use a Mini and an AVIO as a Dante network as standalone. There you go. Raptor. I love that game. It's still around, and they've updated it so like Windows 10 and 11 can run it. So I don't know. I think it's like $5. It's so great. It's so great. Raptor is such a great game. Good times, everybody. Great oldies. Thinking about taking a day off just so I can play some Raptor. That's great. Thanks, everyone. Does Dante Bridge need to be an always-on PC? You can't set it up. You can't set it up and leave it just to the hardware. Correct. It has to be running at all times. NES Life Force. That game was great. Life Force? Is that what it was called? No, not Life Force. Although that looks familiar. It was not this game, no. It was another. I don't know why the theme of all my childhood games was you'd go and like destroy all these military installations via aircraft, but you were. It was like a God mode game where you're flying above the plane and you're steering it with the little pad, right? And he's going left and right, and you're just trying to bomb the crap out of everything and destroy all the airplanes that are coming at you. And it started off really easy, and I was good for like round 1 and round 2, and then my cousin had to take over for like round 3 to round like 50. Life Force looks cool though. But no, it was not that game. Same. Oh man, I don't know how everybody says this word, but yes, this company had so many great games. I was a huge fan of Commander Keen. Oh man, I got all those games. Still. That one is, where's Commander Keen? I think it's GOG as well. If not, oh no, it's on Steam. Yeah, Commander Keen, the fourth one, that was my jam right there. Let's take a look. Commander Keen 4, Secrets of the Oracle. Yep. Goodbye Galaxy. That's the one. So, yoink. Yoink. This is great, guys. Thanks for taking me down this memory pathway. So, we played this game. When I found out that this game was available on Steam, I bought it right as my Christmas break was coming up. I was working for a university at the time. I bought it for there, and I played this game and beat it in like a day and a half. It wasn't like obsessively playing it. I was just like, oh yeah, I remember this, and like you do this and you do this, and I just would, yeah, I played it, beat it really fast. Geez, nostalgic video games, like this is great. This one though, Goodbye Galaxy, was great. There was a Pong game that went along with these Keen games. Did you ever play that? And it was like, man, I'm burned out, but I don't want to stop playing video games, and so let's play this Pong game while my batteries recharge. I remember Zone 66 too. I spent days trying to get it to run. I ended up having to use a boot disk to unload everything from autoexec.bat and configsys to make it run. Zone 66, for those of you, Zone 66 game. Who knows what we're going to see here, by the way. I didn't preview this. This is the guy. This is the jam. Yeah, see, here he is. He's thinking about his wife and his baby. And then he's running along and the whole thing blows up. Well, yeah, this game, it was the jam. And you just fly around, and certain weapons had longer, like targets and whatever, but you would just destroy stuff. It was very much so like a bad version of Raptor. But this one you could fly in any direction, and Raptor, it's a constant moving game, right? So I only ever had Foreign Shores. I never had any of these other games. But man, if they could resurrect this game and get it to work on Windows 10, I'd be all about it. Good times, man. I love me some Zone 66. Abandonware. Maybe I should check. Maybe I should look again, because somebody may have resurrected this game. But it's been a while since I looked. Raptor game for PC. Oh, jeez. Yes. So this game, also pretty awesome. Are we... Oh, that didn't switch. Let's go here. Share this tab. Skip these ads. Yeah. Okay. And the music on this is also something to behold. But... Call of the Shadows gameplay. Yep. Some strange music that went along with this. So you gotta like pick your character. You sit in the hangar. You select your armaments, all your stuff, and then here it is. This is the bee's knees, everybody. I'm just gonna let this run. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that game. Oh yeah, and for everything you destroy, you get money. This guy's not very good at this game. He's getting hit a lot. For every time you blow somebody up, see his money's rising up. And then you go back to the next level and you buy more armament, with the money that you made for every level. So it's good stuff. Great stuff. Best NES game, Wizards and Warriors. All right, I'm going to Google that while we watch some Raptor. Wizards and Warriors for NES. Oh, I recognize this game. I may have seen this game played. Again, I didn't have an NES system, so I didn't I only had a Game Boy growing up. And that was pretty awesome because my parents did not have money to buy me Game Boy. So they spoiled me with that, that's for sure. Oh man, this Raptor game though, so good. So good. Oh, look at those graphics. Watch this. Boom. Oh, toxic waste in the water. That's not good. Environmentalists would not approve of this game. That's for sure. That opening cutscene always melted my brain as a kid, right? That's Zone 66 is what he's talking about there. Death Rally was fun too, a little after the Raptor days. That one I don't know. Death Rally for PC. Oh. You know what game this reminds me of? Is... Oh, shoot. There was another racing game that's kind of like this that was older that I played a lot. It's on GOG. Because I bought it. I found it and I was like, oh man, this thing's still alive. Oh man, Monster Jam? You remember that on Windows? Was it Monster Jam or Monster Truck Rally? Monster Truck Rally was the one that I think I had. And you could always like get it to glitch. Moto Racer? Anybody play Moto Racer? That was a good game. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, I had that one. I had Moto Racer 1 and 2. I don't know if I had 2. Oh, Ignition. That's what the game was called. So Ignition was a racing game, and you could drive. You could be like a school bus. It was great. Graphics were a bit rough, but it was mid-90s, and yeah, man, I played that game all for a long time. You think I didn't have much of a childhood, given how much of my time I spent playing video games. That game was sick. You're welcome for wasting an evening. Yeah, this guy is not very good at Raptor. That's level 1 and he's dead. I should put Raptor on this computer and play it during one of the shows. Was the game 1942, 1943? Ooh, maybe. Let me find out. 1942. Maybe. Doesn't look familiar. Maybe. 1943, the Battle of Midway. Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's a long time ago. I'll have to ask my cousin because he had it. He also may not remember. Episode 4 was always my favorite as well. I rebought all of them. All of what? What did you rebuy? I remember staring at the boxed version of Aliens Ate My Babysitter and playing and replaying the demo as a kid. Excite Bike was the best. Oh man, Excite Bike. I forgot about that. Looks like Zone 66 works well under DOSBox. Oh jeez. Well, we know what I'm doing this weekend. What's going on, M-Tash? Welcome to the show. This is probably pretty odd if you just arrived. Why we're watching this. Good stuff. If you like ship shooters, it's a shipping ships. Then you really need a Turbo Graphics 16. Turbo Graphics 16. This takes me back. This is so good. I love this game. Seriously. Yeah. Good times. Yesterday we streamed our first baseball game of the season. We used 4 P200s and only had a problem with our center field camera. ... There's more coming here. All the cameras were on for about 3.5 hours, but only the center field camera started to freeze, and I couldn't control with the keyboard after about 2.5 hours. Static networks, maybe? Certainly not. Only the center field camera, because of the distance, was connected with power at the camera and by a fiber run. Oh. Do I need to boost the NDI information because of the distance and not lose the NDI control of video signals? Truth be told, I don't have like an approved, I'm like slowly shrinking. It's just because I'm leaning further and further down. Truth be told, I don't actually have an approved like fiber point-to-point that I use. I'm about to test one, if the guys could get around to terminating the fiber cable. I'm about to test one that I purchased in hopes that I could recommend it. But I haven't used one that I genuinely think this is the one that we need to be using. And so more on that later, I guess. Yeah. Yep, same company. Yeah, they were great, man. I'm about to get a what? I'll have to Google that. And it's going to be named Felix. This reminds me of Galaga. Again, name I don't know. Monster Truck Madness. Oh, gosh. Is that on GOG? It must be. Monster. Is it here? Oh, it's not on here. How are you not on here? Oh man, Monster Truck Madness. What a jam. Download Monster Truck Madness for Windows at myabandonware.com. That's the original. Maybe it was Monster Truck Madness 2? No, that shows just 1. Let's check it out. I'm going to check it out. You're still watching Raptor. I do understand. Maybe it wasn't 1. Maybe it was 2. No. No, it was 1. The graphics weren't that good. Yeah. Yeah, it was this one. Oh, man. That's hilarious. So, yeah, apparently it's available at myabandonware.com, but who knows if it'll run. Maybe DOSBox will run it. That'd be good. Oh. Boo. Skip. Sorry, everybody. Oh, that was the end. Call of the Shadows. Is this guy some guy talking for too long? What is oh, that's just the music? Well, get out of here. Stop. All right. I have played Motor Racer. You didn't say whether or not you liked it. But it, yeah, that's old school right there. I rebought all the Commander Keen games. Gotcha. Yeah, I as well have them all. I only really played 4, and we started playing it at like a friend's house, and then we eventually got it for our own machine when it was like $5 to buy. This is gonna want to make me play. You're welcome. Go for it. I'm glad. I'm glad that I could instill some recreational enthusiasm in the chat here today. Have you done Snacks on Stream yet? It's pretty good. I have not. I just looked down and saw it actually and thought I haven't done that yet. I need to probably giddy up on that. I have my P400s on fiber using Unify switches. P400s? They don't have a fiber port. So what are you using? What point-to-point are you using? Would that include fiber going between two 4250s? So I know the fiber between 4250s works just fine because I'm doing that here. That's not generally the issue. The question, I think, is using those point-to-point transmitter receiver units. You're using like an LC mod or something like that where you're doing transmit receive over multi-mode fiber cable, whether or not that would keep up. Now, he's got everything running PoE into switches except for a center field camera, which is running over a fiber point-to-point, it sounds like, and that is the one that's causing him issues. So I would definitely check that the network is running at a 1 gig installation and that you're not having a failure point there between your PTP and the other side. Do some sort of speed test on it or something like that now that the game is done and see what's going on there. Also, what is the deal with the network? Sorry, what is the deal with the network? Are you running static network, DHCP? What's going on there? Because the keyboard typically doesn't lose connection unless you are running a static network that doesn't have an updated MDNS somewhere along the line. And if that's the case, then I would recommend using Discovery Server. But MTash, you know all of this, so I'm assuming that you're running DHCP unless you indicate otherwise at this particular installation. But DS should probably fix those issues. If you're having miscommunications with things, especially if you're converting, like the difference is that you're converting it over to fiber and then back over to Ethernet, right? So I'm wondering if it's just not fast enough or if the modules aren't fast enough. Oh, make sure that the modules aren't overheating. So that's something that I found out recently. I mean, heat is always a consideration, but make sure that those modules get red hot when they're running at, 100, 200, 300 megs. So double check those modules, make sure they're not overheating. Monster Truck Madness 2 was by far the superior game. Yeah, but you didn't spend hours in your childhood playing it. I found all sorts of incomplete portions of that game just by driving the truck into the woods. It's great. It's all about Keen 4. That was such a great game. There was a similar game to Commander Keen called Cosmo. And he's like an alien, but he had this ability where he could jump up and stick to things. That was a cool little dynamic. Okay, thanks. Yeah, the fiber between switches should be fine. I'm running that here. I don't have any sort of issues with that. All right, so the question is, well, first of all, let's giddy up with our Jell-O snack pack. Looks like we've got some Red 40 to consume this morning, and if you agitate just a little bit, it keeps its shape but falls down onto the lid, so that's always fun. But I'm excited about this. I think Brayton gives a thumbs up, and him and I are usually pretty close in taste, so let's see what we got here. Okay, smells like Red 40. Definitely smells like Red 40. And you know what? I'm doing this wrong, guys. Totally doing this wrong. What am I doing? What am I doing?
John's just making up stuff to start drama.
Look, I don't know.
Look at him.
Wish me luck, folks. It's my first Vegemite experience.
Final, this is like cheese flavor or something. It doesn't really look too appetizing.
Good golly, this is something else, man.
Here's the thing about Pop Rocks, and I don't know if I'm the only one like this. Pop Rocks have always been a social experience for me.
I did not think that is what you were going to say. That's hilarious.
That is awful. Oh, God, that's so bad. Jeez. Holy smokes, man.
Oh, good times, everybody. The video always makes me laugh. It's good stuff. Hilarious. Welcome to Snacks on Stream. This is just a little segment where John eats food and gives you his opinion on it, but really it's an excuse to eat food around noon. So here we go. We're having Sour Patch Kids Jell-O, apparently, and Brayton has already given his approval, so we're in good hands here. Let's have a look, see how it goes. Definitely Red 40, but yeah, really good. Definitely tastes like red Sour Patch Kids. So I approve of this. This is great. Yeah, good stuff. Great oldies. Cosmo. It's like a Seinfeld quote. Those suction cups hands, yeah, it's true. I spent way too much time playing Monster Truck Madness 1 and 2 as a kid. Oh man, good times. Hey, what's going on, Daniel? Hey, is it possible or good to downgrade firmware on a P4K? No, do not downgrade. Only go one way. If you try and downgrade, there's a good chance you're going to lose that unit. You're going to brick it because, in short, there are baud rate changes that happen on various versions of the firmware, and so we can help you sort. If you're moving forward and having an issue, we can help you sort that out. But don't go back, because first of all, NDI 4 is no longer supported. NDI 5 is, And so it's no longer supported in the cameras, I should say. And so NDI 5 is the going forward, and you should definitely be moving forward with NDI 5. That's at this point. It's been out for a year and a half, so if you're not going to 5, you know, no guarantee anything's going to work for you if that's the case. It's claimed, okay, fair enough. It's claimed to be backwards compatible. There's no evidence to that. So we've proven that NDI 5 works on our devices, NDI 4, for converters and stuff like that. But other devices out in the wild, I can't speak for those, so I don't know. But I would try to get up to the latest. I believe is 9.4 the one that's on the website right now. Birddog.tv/downloads. Camera NDI 5 firmware updates 9.4. So 9.4 is the latest. That's the one all of my cameras are on. They're all stable and working really well. So I would go with that. Especially that's a P4K that you're looking at right there. And that's running 9.4. I actually have lifelong friends that I met in a weekly Monster Truck Madness. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Oh, that's Monster Truck Madness 2, bringing friends together from all over the world. I have a Unify 8-port switch at each camera. Those go back to my XG16. I have one of those via fiber, and that works well. Agreed. That is my design actually. I have that design as well. I didn't tell Mr. Facebook or Mrs. Facebook user, whoever you are. You know what? I can find out. I did not tell Joshua. Oh, hey, what's going on, Joshua? It's been a while. Nice to see you again. Welcome, welcome. Yes. So this configuration is the same that I have here in this office for our backbone network is Unify XG16 running to switches as endpoint switches, and then we're plugging in the network to there, and that works really well as the 16 fiber core being the main switch on the network, so works well. I was that big of a Monster Truck Madness 2 nerd. That's so cool. I love it. Paul, hey John, any update on a firmware update for Studio and Mini? Also, any update on Core 7? The answer to all three questions is the same. No. So Studio and Mini are slated for an update. I don't have a Gantt chart showing when we're thinking that is going to happen, when that project's going to get underway. I've been told, and until I am told differently, I will continue to say this, I've been told that all converters are going to NDI 5. And so that is the next major update. Now that Silicon 2 is out on cameras, the next major update is NDI 5 on converters. There are multiple hoops that have to be jumped through to make that happen, but NDI 5 on converters is next. 4K family will be first. Flex will likely be second, and then Studio Mini will be third, wall plate, and SDM, and a few others. So that's kind of the succession of things. The issue is that Studio, the beloved Studio, is EOL'd, and it's actually almost EOS, to be honest with you. So we're winding down the support for Studio, and it becomes harder and harder to prioritize things that are out of date. So I think 366 and 367 for Studio and Mini respectively are the latest firmwares for those, but I don't have an update in terms of when that might be. However, I'm having an engineering meeting, or I'm supposed to have an engineering meeting this evening, and I will send that question to them for you, so that I'm sure that we will get an answer for that, because it's always good to get that update. And we definitely should have an update on that because it's been a while. So thanks for saying something. I will try and find out and let you guys know on Tuesday what the deal is. Let me get into Teams and make that happen while we're sitting here. I want to be sure that I do the things I say I'm going to do. Chat. Engineering meeting. Where is it? Engineering. All right, there we go. We shall see what they say. Hopefully that hopefully they can give us an idea as to like what quarter this year we're hoping to have it worked on. But there are a few projects underway, to say the least. This is good. This is definitely like summertime Jell-O is what this is. This would be great. I'm gonna buy some of this and put it in the fridge. It's supposed to be. It was in the fridge, but I waited an hour, so it's not that cold. Still good though. Still good. To answer Daniel's question up top, is it possible or good to downgrade? I would say I don't think it's even possible. It's definitely not good. So don't do it if you can avoid it, unless you absolutely have to for some reason. But why do you want to downgrade? That's really a question. I'm not too sure why you would want to. Sour Patch Kids Jell-O snack pack. It's excellent. There's just not enough of it. Just not enough. All right. Okay, so a couple of changes here today that we talked about, and I want to be sure that I want your opinion. We got lots of people here now, and when I first talked about this at 11:15, there wasn't a ton of folks here, but I've changed my microphone situation just a little bit here, just for a test. I didn't get rid of the RE20. Don't worry, it's right here. But I'm using a little lavalier microphone that's underneath my sweater, and a little wireless Go transmitter and receiver, and bringing that into the Euphoria 404 HD, and then taking that into vMix. And I feel like it sounds pretty good. I've had some into vMix, and I feel like, yeah, I think on the phone at least it sounds pretty good. I don't have my headphone cans on, but as you are listening to it on your end, please tell me what you're watching it on, what you're watching the stream on, and what it sounds like. Because the RE20 obviously has basically a complete range of my register, whereas this is a lav mic, and it's a very tiny capsule, and it is stuck to my body, and then underneath one of these little dead cats. Oh, sorry, one of these little dead cats. So, it's in an effort to settle down the rustling of my shirt, but it's also an interesting way to do microphones because it's completely clean. Like, there's no microphone in the shot at all. And if I didn't tell you where the microphone was, you probably wouldn't know where it is. And there's no microphone in the shot, nothing on the table. It's I guess you would maybe assume that it's a shotgun microphone, but it's a lav mic, and I'm just curious to know what you guys think of it. So I've had some pretty good reviews, I think, so far. People said that it sounds pretty good. And one guy said he likes it better than the RE20. One guy said that it sounds great. One guy said that he would prefer to use a Countryman something or other, some model of a Countryman, which, again, if money were no object, I probably wouldn't go with this particular microphone. But I'm buying all this equipment myself, and so it's just for testing purposes and just to see how it performs. So this is the LV2 by XVive, which is kind of a entry-level company, I think. They do wireless transmitters and receivers as well. But this is the LV2 is a whole lot smaller than the LV1, but it's only $10 different. So I thought, well, in the interest of keeping it tiny, concealable, all of that stuff, like I could run it up the back of my neck and tape it back here, and then run it up next to my hat or something like that, right? And like be right on the front of my face, and avoid me touching my shirt and any of that rustling that would happen accidentally. But I'm very curious to know what it sounds like. I'm also betting that you're hearing more ambient sound in the room, as that is the nature of a lav mic, and it's not, the RE20, which is just basically what's happening right at my mouth. But also I can kind of move around and not worry about obstructing it or changing my direction in which I'm looking, and the audio shouldn't really change that much. So I kind of like that flexibility. I like the ability to be able to turn and talk and it still work just fine, and not have to worry about positioning or... So one of the reasons why I'm exploring some of this stuff is I want to do some run and gun stuff on my own, but on weekends we have a lavalier microphone that's being used by a minister on Sundays, and we're experimenting with different places to put it. But it's always catching his beard, or it's catching his shirt, or it's like moving around, and it's really annoying, like super, super annoying. So one of the ideas is to use something like snot tape, which is a fabric tape, which allows you, and it's stretchy, made by the same company that makes these, URSA, U-R-S-A, snot tape, and it's basically just fabric, sticky, hypoallergenic tape that you can stick to your body or stick to your, under your shirt or like under your collar or however you want to do it. But it basically glues the microphone in place so that it can't move anywhere. And I'm tempted to buy something like that just to get some tape and be like, all right, we're going to try something different and see how it goes. And I've heard great things about this, because actors use it for costumes, and they're moving a whole lot more than a guy on stage, like delivering a sermon. So I'm tempted to be like, look, for $12, let's just give this a try and see how it works. And problem is that it's not going to be here until like the 15th, which is like a week and a half away. And I kind of want to have it like now. Fastest delivery by March 11th. Get free fast shipping with Amazon Prime. Oh, I'm not logged in. I was like, what? I always have free shipping. I got Prime. Dang it, wrong computer. All right, well, I'll figure that out in my off time. But enjoy your Jell-O. Hey, thanks. It was delicious. Appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. I think it's a case for support because I just updated to the latest firmware, and now my P4K doesn't connect or work properly. I've also already tried Neuralizer. Can you give me a little more? Like, what isn't connecting and working properly? It's not. You can't find it on the network at all. The web UI is not loading. You can't find it on a keyboard. It's not loading in Studio Monitor. There's image on the HDMI out, but nothing on NDI. Yeah, where are we? Because I can definitely walk you through some quick stuff to try. That would help with the support case, because the support guys will ask you the same thing. But hey, I'm right here. I'm available right now. So hit me up. Let me know what if you want to try and troubleshoot things. And people in the chat will also benefit from seeing that go down. So if you want, that's fine. You can definitely open a support case at help@birddog.tv, and my excellent agents with the fearless leader of Senseless will assist. No problem. Hey, it sounds great. Thanks, Matt. I'm glad it sounds great. I'm actually very pleased to hear that. So placement is always going to be I'm always going to be wondering, but like I actually really like having the versatility of mounting a microphone on a talent and having it completely hidden. And then, I don't know, it's convenient. Anyways, I'm going to jump over to this computer and check out that tape, because that's exciting. Isn't this riveting content? Riveting. My young apprentice. Okay, so this package is coming out, delivered today. Excellent. Where was it delivered? Hopefully delivered to the correct location. That was delivered, and this is a separate shipment? That's weird. All right. Ursa Major. Ursa tape. Moleskin. Mole. Ursa tape. Sticky strips. Sticky strips, $12.99. Get it delivered by tomorrow. Giddy up. Let's go. We're gonna make that happen. So this is for various reasons. It's not just for microphones. Oh man. I would love to be able to hide the microphone that we use on my Sunday talent and take it off of his body completely, so it's not even in the shot. That'd be so cool. Like actually do a wardrobe fixture on him. That'd be fun. Hey, I have to run to work. Have a great day. Angus, a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you always being here. Okay. Happy to help you here, Daniel. If you want to submit a ticket, by all means. Also cool. Hey, what are all the codecs that NDI supports? And are there plans to add any decent new codecs like JPEG XS? No, I don't believe that. So the codecs, NDI is its own encode and decode protocol. So it's unique to and of it, like to itself. It's not. It's using H.264 in a way, but it's basically its own. It's its own codec. So I don't know of any other plans to like implement other versions, but the Silicon 2 update will give you other formats. It'll give you NDI HX, which is a different codec, okay? And then it'll give you SRT, RTMP, and RTSP. And so those are more for streaming like across the internet type of things, but those are the ones that are currently the big push. So NDI HX, which we do full NDI, okay? But then HX is now being enabled on Silicon 2 when the beta goes to public. RTSP, RTMP, and SRT. Now, it's all in beta, okay? So these are not official functions. But NDI, the beautiful thing with BirdDog is like when you buy a BirdDog camera, first of all, you don't have to buy an NDI license like you do with a bunch of other cameras that like do NDI, but it's really HX and it's a license. But also, like you're buying the camera, one of the primary functions is the NDI. I mean, it's a beautiful picture, great lens, lots of coloration control, all sorts of great stuff for a very, very low price for what it does. It's one of the lowest in the market for the quality that it delivers. But yeah, there's not a bunch of other. Like we don't do H.264, H.265 natively out of the camera, whereas some other cameras do. So that's not on there. 10-bit, 12-bit, or 16-bit supported, maybe 444 chroma sampling. So we do 10-bit on the 4K sensors. The P400 and the P4K, I believe, can do 10-bit, and that's 422. And then the I'm sorry. The HD sources on the 4K cameras, okay, are 422 at 10-bit, can be 10-bit. The 4K sources are 420 at 8-bit, as I recall. That's currently where that fleet stands. Now, doesn't mean that it can't be done, but that's currently the output on there. No 12, no 16, and 444 is currently not an option over NDI. And that is just a bandwidth thing. So 422 runs like 200 megs for full NDI per second. And 444, I think that in the preliminary testing of that, it clocks in at like 350 or something like that. It's like a crazy requirement because it's 4 times the data as 422, right? And then again, 4 times as 420. So it keeps compounding. So just if you're looking for the 4K, like 4K Red 444, that sort of brand, you're not going to be converting that to NDI in its current flavor. Not to mean that that's not going to come. It just means in the current 4K offering that's over the NDI encode, that's not going to be a thing. Great questions, though. Good stuff. How's it going, Jacob? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for joining us over on LinkedIn. Appreciate that. What else did I answer? The sound is good. It's so much better video delivery without the headphones and large microphone in front of you. See, we get various feedback about that. I personally like the microphone in front of me. I don't care about the headphones, but the headphones give me an accurate representation of what is being done. This thing does not. This thing is weak sauce to begin with. If anybody has an IEM of high quality, let me know. I would love to get one that's better quality than this. I think this one set me back a grand total of $20. So it's not, I didn't expect it to deliver high quality sound, but it's more of a walkie-talkie type of setup than it is for listening to audio accurately. The Audio Technica cans that I have are strictly just so I can hear the entire stream. But if because the other alternative is watching it on my phone, and that's fine, but it's it's an iPhone, so kind of lame sauce. So I don't mind this. I used to use a shotgun microphone. The trade-off is that you can hear all the room noise, and you can hear like the stuff going on in the office, like the support tickets being answered. So surprised you can't hear people typing. It's just so sensitive. And in the summer, when the AC kicks on, this would not work because you need something close proximity. It's not, the RE20 rejects the proximity effect, which I like a lot, but it keeps it nice and clean. Plus, it's a standard broadcast microphone, so I probably won't get rid of the RE20. I know that there are lots of YouTubers out there that have this setup or have a microphone on the desk, but yeah, the headphones, I could get rid of the headphones if that's a real big distraction, but it sounds a lot better to me when I'm wearing headphones. So, anyways, again, personal preference. I appreciate the feedback, though. I will consider that. Always helpful. That's only 50% more. There you go. I upgraded P4K Step 1 NDI firmware. WebUI said update complete, but didn't reboot. Yeah, you got to power cycle it. After a while, I took the cam off power and still nothing and no connection to the WebUI. Then I ran Neuralizer. WebUI back with new firmware, but again, after a few times, I'm losing the connection. Hey, this sounds great, and thank you for answering my questions. Of course, that is what I'm here for. Here to answer them as best as I can. For whatever that's worth. So, when the WebUI comes up after the power restart, you got to go and do step 2. So there's a baseboard update that really needs to be done, or the baseboard and the NDI chip are going to stop talking to each other. So you got to do step 2 right after step 1, right? So be sure that, I don't know, is that a USB update on there? They're all kind of different now, and they've been changing since NDI. Let's find out. They've been changing since the NDI 5. Well, actually LTS changed a bunch of the camera sequences. So you're doing P4Ks up to NDI 5. If we download this and have a little look-see. 18 seconds remaining for this download. No, that can't be right. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the stream. Where are we at? You must accept cookies. All right. Still 30 seconds to go. All right, there we go. P4K update to 9.4. Step 2 is the HD20. So that is a USB file that needs to be done, and you need to format the USB drive accurately. So if you don't, if you haven't done that correctly, I want you to go over to YouTube. I want you to click on the link that's inside the manual, and please format that USB drive correctly, because that is mission critical. It is not just a quick format. You have to do it step by step as we demonstrate to do the format right. So it's that's the plan there. I already did step 2 also. Yes. Did you follow the update process on the YouTube video? So see you later, Zachary. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for hanging out. Antlion and Antlion? Is it foreign? I don't know. I always butcher these names. They make a couple of great low IEMs. Also a boom mic option for them. Let's check them out. Oops, I didn't mean microphone. I meant IEM. Ooh. These are fun. Solo in-ear IEM headsets. Wow, those are fancy pants. Is the IEM headset. This comes with like a microphone and everything. That's fun. All right, let's go to their store. Ooh, somebody did not. They left one review and it was not nice. Mod mic wireless. Mod mic USB. Mod mic uni. I want to just hear. That's all I want. I don't need a microphone. I don't need a boom mic. Do they just have ears? That's what I care about the most. All right, I'm going to go with no. Oh. They have one IEM, which is currently not available, but I will go back here to the Google and go to their actual website and find out what is going on here. Okay, shop, headphones, headphones, headphones. Nope, those are all huge headphones. Shop, microphones. Do they all have mics? It seems like they all have mics. I'm curious if they all have mics or not. I'll keep digging around here. I don't know where. Microphones. What is this? Ooh, that's so fancy. They're little in-ear mics, or they're IEMs with the Duo. Duo? Sold out. Add to cart. The Solo. The Kimura? Do they have any other colors other than red? 3.5 termination, microphone, and in-ear. Full in-ear set. What's in the box? Ooh, there's just a... What's in the box? Let's find out. One microphone cable, one pair of solo IEMs, one set of memory foam ear tips, one shirt clip, audio Y adapter, hard shell carrying case. Interesting. Good to know. Dang, they're sold out. Yes, they are sold out. I cannot find them anywhere. Yes, it's our upgrade USB stick only for our cameras. That's funny that you have one. I would still do the format when you're doing the new file. Like, just want to make sure that before you started it, you unallocated all the space, reformatted it down to 256 megs, did the FAT32 for the P4K, and then drag the HD20 file onto the root folder and then did the update. Because if you use it for other cameras, that format will get corrupted and the file won't actually get deleted. It'll get overwritten and whatever. So you have to basically start over every time you do a firmware update. Just making sure. I'm sure you did, but we need to double check. Because that's a very common thing where the baseboard didn't update correctly. And so then it's like losing connection, and the two firmware, or the firmware on the NDI chip and the firmware on the board are different. Hey, if you haven't done so already, for those of you who are hanging around, haven't done so already, head over to birddogjohn.tv and hit that subscribe button. And if you're so inclined, you can hit the bell notification, I guess, as well. Not that that's required. And that is the only thing I'm going to ask you to do on this channel. Everything that I do in this studio is produced onto that site, but also onto various other outlets. So you might be joining us from Facebook or the other YouTube page or LinkedIn or Twitch or whatever. All good. Just my homepage for this, birddogjohn.tv, is where we hang out all the time for twice a week. And we're up to 190 subscribers, which is kind of a big deal. I didn't ever think it was going to get that big. So appreciate that. Thanks for following along. And this way I can turn around and show my bosses and say, see, people are paying attention. So that's super nice. Thanks. If you've already done it, thank you so much. And if you're interested, if you could spare a moment to do that, I'd really appreciate that. Twice a week, folks. Twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays here on birddogjohn.tv from 11 to at least 12 o'clock. And today we are heading into the 1 o'clock hour, it looks like. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. But twice a week, synchronize your watches or mark your calendars, or whatever it is that you do. Come hang out with us. We talk NDI. We talk about audio stuff. We talk about video stuff. We talk about video switching. We talk about lighting. We talk about all of that. And then we also go through like all of our Bird Dog product lines. We also have interviews with folks that work for Bird Dog and also guys that are in the industry. We've had Tom Sinclair on the show before over at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. If you don't know who he is, you need to look up the Streaming Idiots on YouTube. And that is his channel, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. And they do a show every Wednesday. It's always aces and always very informative. He's a great, he doesn't play a lot of favorites. He just unboxes the products and gives us his honest to goodness unboxing impression. And I really appreciate that about him. He's a very genuine person, and he does a lot of good work over there. So go and hang out at Streaming Idiots on Wednesdays. Come and hang out with us on Tuesday, Thursdays, and be sure that you, come back, because we do all sorts of things. We interview guys. Sometimes we go to special events. Sometimes I broadcast a show from Australia if I'm ever over there, which I'm rarely over there. I've been there twice in my career in 5 years, so I'm rarely over there. But that Snacks on Stream clip from earlier is me sitting in the hotel at 1:30 in the morning in Australia, doing an 11 o'clock show here from the day before, basically, live and answering your questions, but eating some questionable Australian delicacies and reacting to them on camera. So that's really what Snacks on Stream does every now and then. Good times. So yeah, come and hang out with us twice a week, 11 to at least 12 o'clock on Tuesday, Thursdays. We try and keep you up to date, be available for at least an hour to answer your questions. Try something new out. So I'm using a different microphone, and it's good stuff. So come hang out with us. I would appreciate that greatly, and you would probably benefit. So, okay, I'll try that. Thanks, man. Daniel, my pleasure. Come back as soon as you have a result. I'm not saying that's the magic bullet, but definitely reformat and start over with the USB. We've seen them corrupt. Like we had, for example, we had a fleet of cameras on the test bench, and they all needed to be updated. And we went down the line. I went down the line with a USB stick, and by like the fourth one, they stopped updating. And so I unallocated, redid the whole thing, and then started going down the fourth, fifth, sixth, and they all worked again. So like, it's hard to say. Not all USB media is created equal, and sometimes it corrupts it and causes a problem. So there you go. Alrighty then. There, I need that soundbite. Where's that soundbite? Wait, what was this one?
Hold on to your butts.
Oh yeah, that was from Tuesday. Hold on to your butts. That's a Jurassic Park quote. And also this one.
You didn't say the magic word.
Oh, it's so good. So good. All right. Well, it seems like the chat is slowing down a little bit, and so I am not interested in rushing you off, but I'm also... We got some work to do around here. What do I got going on this afternoon? Oh yeah, I got to do some stuff. We are expecting a snowstorm tomorrow, and we're expected somewhere in the 3 to 5 inches realm. If you are following along and keeping score, you'll remember that I was in a car accident the last snowstorm on Friday, and so I'm a little edgy, but we will still be functioning. Whether we're in the office or not, we will still be answering tickets and functioning. We don't just like, oh, I guess I can't make it to the office, so I'm not going to answer any tickets. We actually can work remotely, and so we would be taking PTO off if we actually wanted to. We would be taking PTO if we wanted to not work. That is not the plan. We're just figuring out how we need to adjust so that we are not putting our guys on the road and making things dangerous for them. Myself included, actually, I'm probably the fourth furthest away from the office out of 7 people, and I drive 25 minutes to the office, so that's saying something. Anyway, we want to be sure that that is safe, and so tomorrow there may just be 1 or 2 people here, and there may be nobody here. I don't know. But we will still be online. So if you have tickets or whatever, feel free to submit them to everybody. Say it at once. help@birddog.tv. This is our ticketing system. I have a team that works for me here at the support office, and they are, I think, the best in the NDI industry. People get bent out of shape because we don't have every bell and whistle, or we're not available in their preferred way of communication. But I don't think that there is another company in the NDI manufacturing realm that has the level of support at the cost that we charge you, that is as responsive as we are. So you do get more responsive turnaround if you pay for platinum and premium programs, but we don't offer those. We treat everybody, at least we try to treat everybody as equals, and that is the way that we respond to things through the desk. So that frustrates people who are used to getting white glove service, but it also allows the guy that doesn't have the budget for that to also have a legit, like, middle of the road service expectation. So that's what we're up to over here, and we're trying to get back to everybody as quick as we can. We ask that you give us a few days to, like, get you into a system, get you assigned to an agent. We generally do better than 2 days, generally. And the guy that leads the charge is Senseless, and he's doing a fantastic job at that. And so he is keeping things under wrap. He works like crazy. He works way more hours than he should, but he's got things under control. And so trust my team. Trust my guys. What I ask you is, if you have an NDI question or you need to help with your bird dog product, trust the guys that are at the helm to come back and make that happen, okay? So, holy moly, it worked. You saved my evening. Thanks again. I owe you some stream snacks. Hey, I will not turn that down. Do you have anything sour or spicy? Because, like, let's go. What do you like? What do you like to have? You buy one and ship one to me, and we'll eat them at the same time, and we'll give some live feedback to the audience. That'd be a lot of fun. Daniel, I'm thrilled. I'm glad that's working for you. I'm apparently I still got it. Good times. I'm glad that worked. Please, though, open a ticket. If you have any other thing come up or something comes up with that, open a ticket. Help at birddog.tv. My guys can help you with that. No issue. So seriously, reach out to my team. Trust my guys, okay? Trust my agents. We will definitely help you. We want to help you. We're a global support department. We're not just here in the U.S. We're not just servicing North America. We service everybody. And so we try and treat everybody the same, everybody equal, and we try and get back to you within reasonable time. If you have a ticket in and you'd like an update, just reply to the ticket. It'll reopen it. It'll put it at the top of the list and say, hey, could I have an update on this, please? Please and thank yous will get you a response pretty quick. Here's a support hack. If you're polite to support agents, they really want to help you. Trust me. So if you want insider knowledge, that's how it's done. Is be nice, and they'll really appreciate that. So reach out if you have a ticket in. Let us know if you're looking for an update. No problem. If maybe we don't have the answer might be no, but the good news is that my lead agent, and myself meet with the engineers once a week, face to face, online. They're in Australia, and so they wake up and they get online early, and we are finishing up our day, and we get online and we talk about all the things that are burning fires, and so we clear things up with them, and that is really a convenient way to have that happen. So if you'd like an update, and it's like, could we see if the engineers know anything? Just throw that in there. We can maybe ask them when we're live with them on the camera. It's not a big deal, but I promise you, we are trying to, like I said, treat everybody equal, but also get back to everybody in time, and set some realistic expectations as to when things will be fixed. Right? So it's a weird world to operate in, but that's what we do. We do that all the time, and we're definitely here to kind of sort things out for you. So, all right. Well, if Daniel's all squared away, that's good news. So yeah, Tuesday, Thursdays, 11 to 12. Now, the news is that next Tuesday, I'm going to be coming back from a job that I need to go and help fix. And so the plan is for me to fly in on Tuesday morning and be back here relatively close to when the show will start. But there's a good chance that I'm just going to start the show at noon and go a little bit later, okay? So I may be needing an extra hour. The worst case scenario is something happens, I don't get back here, flight gets canceled, I get bumped to a late flight or something like that. I'm not doing standby. I paid for a ticket. So whatever happens, that I don't get back here on Tuesday morning in time to start the show, I will announce that. I'll record a quick video and put it up just so that people know that that's what's going on. But the plan is for me to at least start at 11, and if not, at 12, and it will be scheduled. Okay, so you'll see it show up on YouTube, on birddogjohn.tv, by the way. if you go over and subscribe to that channel, you'll see it show up as whatever time it's scheduled. I just don't know when I'm going to be back. So precisely because I got to get an Uber from the airport back here, and that's probably like an hour drive. So here's hoping. So that is all of that. Please hit subscribe on that birddogjohn.tv YouTube page. That would help me out big time. And shout out to Beep Chirp for setting up that DNS redirect. Really appreciate that. People do nice things for us all the time, and I need to acknowledge that. So that is where we can be found. Help at birddog.tv. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you're looking forward to whatever it is that you got planned. Hope that you're going to have an uneventful weekend and that you will safely return to us on Tuesday to chat a little bit more about NDI and about whatever it is that you've got going on. Bring your questions. Be like Daniel. Bring your questions. We can maybe help you right here on camera and get you all squared away. And then you don't have to spend all evening figuring out what on earth is going on. So feel free to do that. Where are my... Oh, there they are. Commercials. So yeah, we're going to outro, and hopefully we will see you again in just a few days on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, hopefully, maybe 12. But hopefully on Tuesday we'll see you again. We'll get to hang out and have another chat. Take care of yourselves out there. Take care of each other. And we'll see you in a couple days. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.
Resistance is futile.